Welcome to my fight show. Episode 2 is on the air. I'm Micah Frankel. Do we have a lot in store, a lot to cover with you today? Been a jam-packed weekend of combat sports. And my gosh, is there a lot in store for this upcoming weekend? Not just nationally, but locally. Locally, a lot going on. Of course, the UFC got something big. I think boxing has a huge event going on. And the same from BKB. Show is live every Tuesday. This is my fight show. So we're going to go all over the combat sports and entertainment world every Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m., where I am in the Mountain Time Zone. That's 8 to 10 for you guys on the East Coast. Gonna get this going, gonna get it rolling every week. Whole bunch of friends are gonna be joining us, like this week. Katherine Renee Lindenmuth. I'm not sure how much she's gonna be able to talk about her, what I thought was split decision championship winning performance in Cairo. That's what it was for a few hours. There's controversy of brewing. She says there's going to be a press conference. We'll get the details on the when, the where, what's going on, and what she can tell us about what was her second trip around the world. Diego Brandao is going to be here. The Tuff-N-Uff Featherweight champion, who is going to be defending that title. Once again, it's a short order rematch that Tuff-N-Uff is throwing at him against Kai Kamaka. So we're going to have Diego Brandao here to talk about that in a little bit. Catherine's going to be first up. Local boxing, December 12th, Legacy Boxing Promotions. We will have Quentin Deleon to talk about his upcoming fight against Austin Lewis. And probably at some time, we'll also get Austin Lewis on this program also. And then Jess Martinez, a long time away from the cage, unbeaten MMA prospect. We saw him try his hand at Muay Thai. The Vanilla Gorilla will probably be our last guest of the evening. So I got high hopes for 4 fighters in all to be joining us. We'll take off the gloves at a point and get some bare knuckle talk in, because BKFC 84. My gosh, Lorenzo Hunt, my gosh. We'll get deeper into that here in a little bit. New middleweight contender budding, new women's featherweight contender right there. Former UFC vet. So we have a lot to talk about. Talking about the UFC 322. Islam Makhachev smothers Jack Della Magdalena, becomes the new UFC welterweight champion of the world, the 11th fighter in UFC history to win titles in 2 weight classes, putting himself amongst the all-time legends of the sport. And that victory was equally as dominant as the one in the co-main event from Valentina Shevchenko, posts her 9th successful UFC women's flyweight title defense. We got a more in-depth conversation about the entire UFC 322 main card. MMA After Hours. I joined Michael Carlisle. That's already up at cageminds.com. The newest episode where we go in depth into that card, the news about Jake Paul, and then this weekend's UFC Qatar. So for the in-depthness of the main card, check out that platform. And while we're talking about what we do with After Hours Podcast Network, tomorrow, Pro Wrestling After Hours comes out. Our review of Blood and Guts and a preview of AEW Full Gear. Not to mention, as I bring up pro wrestling, It was a sellout crowd once again at the El Rey Theater this past Saturday for a beautiful thing. Duke City Championship Wrestling will be back at the El Rey Theater on December 27th. It's going to be light. Little pro wrestling talk for you this week. Much more coming out tomorrow. Wrestling After Hours, Cage or wherever you listen to your face is where you will be. So you're going to find both of those shows. At this point, we are efforting Katherine Renee Lindenmuth. I believe that she able to jump on. Diego is sit for 6:30. Might be juggling some things around here tonight, but that is the expectation. As we're waiting for Katherine, want to bring up the BKFC 84 event because I already had an in-depth conversation. There's a little on with Isla Mahasha's greatness, Valentina Shevchenko's greatness. I covered all of that with Michael Carlisle today. The person's greatness that I didn't get to cover, though, Lorenzo Hunt. I got to say, I had my questions too, not to dismay his greatness, but a year and a half away, now 42 years old, and was in trouble again. Josh Dyer had his moments. If you see the swelling around the left orbital of Lorenzo Hunt, Josh Dyer was having success. He was able to land. And then in the weirdest, almost deja vu feeling, but we know it's not deja vu because we actually did see it the first time, the overhand right, and Josh Dyer is laid out flat in the same manner that we saw Mike Richmond go down. Lorenzo Hunt defying the time away, the injury to his bicep, comes back and reclaims the 185-pound title. Coming back, reclaiming the championship, no surprise, but thought that might happen at 205 pounds where Lorenzo wouldn't have to be cutting so much weight. In your 40s, you know that's never comfortable. The man defies the odds, defies adversity, overcomes and conquers. If you go to cageminds.com, we've been promoting recent interview with Nathan Rivera. This definitely, as Nathan said, puts Lorenzo in that echelon of rarefied air. Dave Feldman is talking about 2026, possibly 2027, a BKFC Hall of Fame. Active or not, Lorenzo Hunt feels like he is one of the first names to go into that Hall of Fame. Ridiculously deserving, 12-2, reclaiming the belt that he vacated. Can he do it again? He already has his sights set on another championship opportunity. Lorenzo Hunt, never to take it easy, big game hunting. The first name that's coming out of his mouth is Mike Perry. And that's intriguing because for the longest time, for my money, the most intriguing fight in BKFC, the fight that it feels like is the carrot that they've been dangling in front of our faces. Can we get Mike Perry versus Dave Mundell? We've seen the destruction that Dave Mundell has carved out across the middleweight division. We thought he was going to go up to light heavyweight for this matchup with Josh Dyer. That didn't happen. And now we look at the possibility instead with Hunt reclaiming the title. Could he be a worthy enough name, I guess is what we're going to say, to draw out Mike Perry? Mike Perry so far taken on other acclaimed names from the MMA world. He has conquered BKFC in a spectacular fashion, but doing it without fighting some of the biggest names in BKFC. Lorenzo Hunt, Mike Perry, that is ridiculously entertaining. And that is ridiculously dangerous. Like Eddie Alvarez, Jeremy Stevens, there's a thought process to get behind the fact that Mike Perry could absorb a massive shot from a lightweight. But Lorenzo Hunt has been the cruiserweight, the 205-pound champion of BKFC. He has the speed. That was his advantage in the weight class, even though you've seen that one punch knockout power, and it's most exuded at middleweight, where this fight would take place at 185 pounds. There was a question now raised: what should be the main event of Knucklemania in February in Philadelphia? It feels like a foregone conclusion. It's the King of Violence title merging with the BKFC light heavyweight title. It's Mike Perry versus the juggernaut Lorenzo Hunt. They both are looking for a big fight, a big payday. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate is not even a good enough word. Dave Mundell doesn't deserve to be in this predicament where he's not a part of that fight. But with the mega force that is the promotional power of Lorenzo Hunt, with what is the promotional power of Mike Perry, the two biggest forces in BKFC, it makes a lot of sense right now. Perry hasn't wanted to cut to 175 again. He doesn't seem to have that in the cards. Who blames him? 185, Lorenzo Hunt, that's a huge name. That's what came out of BKFC 84 as Lorenzo Hunt duplicates the magic, the viral moment that broke the internet here in Albuquerque. He does it in Palm Desert, California, returning to the mantle that he vacated. The throne that he never even got slayed from, you would say, gave it away. Hopefully we're going to have our first guest coming up here any moment. Going to reach out and see if Catherine's ready. Still got a moment for Katherine Renee Lindenmuth to join us. BKFC 84, the co-main event, Drew Stuve in the middleweight division, talking about 175 pounds, runs his record to 4-0 now in BKFC, had a hometown main event showcase on a fight night card, then jumps up to a numbered event, a co-main event, a worthy, a real challenger in Zev Vincent, somebody that had been around the block, someone that had pulled off upset, has good punching power, experience, and Stuve gets the knockdowns, cruises to a convincing, unanimous decision. Huge victory for Stuve. Might have a juggling right now in the order of our guests. Sorry about that. And also, huge implications in the women's bantamweight division. 3 knockdowns, 1 round. Didn't know the hands could look that good. Aspen Ladd, we knew about her grappling acumen, her ground and pound, how she was able to facilitate violence. But the combinations she put together and then the damage that she was able to inflict in the clinch, Aspen Ladd gets the first round TKO victory. It's 3 knockdowns in that 2 minutes, and then grabs the mic and basically calls out Borga and Faria. We haven't had a lot of action in the BKFC women's divisions recently. I hate to jump the cart on any of these matchups, but Aspen Ladd does come with a pedigree where she has been in the cage with some of the best in the world, and there's not a deep pool of opposition to pick from. 1 win, and yeah, Aspen Ladd versus Christine Faria, Aspen Ladd versus Jessica Borga, they both make a lot of sense. If Ladd is willing to come back down to 135, her and Faria for an inaugural women's bantamweight title makes a lot of sense. Want to stay at featherweight, challenging Jessica Borga when she's ready to fight again, it makes a lot of sense. Adding more depth, and if there's anyone else, I don't know if you need a Hannah Rankin fight for Aspen Ladd to prove that she's ready after what she just did against somebody that was fourth fight in bare knuckle. The pedigree, it showed through in a big way in that fight. Cody Vidal, you know, we all love when someone gets knocked down, gets back up, and is able to find the finish. He's coming together in a big way. And the vicious overhand, huge knockout victory. I believe the website, as the bottom line will tell you, has the results for BKFC 84. Hopefully, we're going to get a guest in here soon. Katherine Renee Lindenmuth said she'd be able to join us, expecting her any minute. And then there's a possibility Jess Martinez, Diego Brandao, and a little bit later on, we will have Quentin Deleon, the Lion, here joining us probably at the end of the night to talk about his return to the boxing ring. BKFC 84. So again, Lorenzo Hunt, all-time remarkable highlight reel knockout. Aspen Ladd, a debut that we will definitely remember. Oh, so impressive. And Drew Stuve, next to Johnny Garbarino, probably the most impactful debuter that we've seen in the middleweight division. I would assume that we're talking about Marcus Edwards next up to challenge for the title against Dave Mundell in that division, but lots to be left up, a lot there to be figured out in BKFC as always. Katherine Renee Lindenmuth went out to Cairo. Cards all stacked against her, traveling around the world. I can't wait till she gets on. I got to ask her if the story looks as dramatic as it felt on social media. Traveling from Albuquerque to Atlanta to France to get to Cairo to fight up what looked like 2 to 3 weight classes. And then after getting the victory, we are now told there's been accusations of PEDs, steroids, substance use, and the fight. Well, this accusation, I believe, is still under investigation. The fight has been quickly changed to a no contest on the road all the way in Cairo, Egypt, winning a split decision. Now, first off, you have to understand the politics of boxing. Katherine went up 3 weeks' notice, taking on the number 1 ranked fighter in the world in that women's super flyweight weight class. Katherine, a minimum weight fighter, so I believe this is at least jumping up 2 weights, flying around the world on short notice to win a split decision. That really means you don't beat that girl fully, and it really should have been a straight heads-on unanimous decision. That's how boxing lingo really works out. One judge is automatically scoring it for the hometown fighter almost no matter what happens. So a split decision is a thorough as unanimous decision win as you can get. Because if you just barely won the fight, it's going to be a draw. And if you only kind of won the fight, it's usually going to be a majority draw. You got to kind of learn how to talk judge when these boxing decisions come out and understand what a split decision really means. On the road, you win a unanimous decision, gave your foe was something horrendous. Huge weekend of combat sports last weekend. Not to mention, like, before we even got to the UFC, before we even got to the BKFC, there was a rematch in the boxing ring. You got to see Chris Eubanks Jr., Conor Benn, the rematch. This time, to my understanding, a more significant rehydration clause or more forcefully enforced. And Chris Eubanks Jr. did not look well. A depleted body. And then you could see Conor Benn, the athleticism, the hydrated body, the natural welterweight, who will return apparently to 147 pounds after this fight. More energy, more ability to fight. With the rehydration clause, Eubanks did not have enough liquid in him to be a real lucid individual. Glad we avoided a horrendous scene. The Benn family gets their first win against the Eubanks family. And that was the biggest boxing event of last weekend, as we'll head into this weekend, where I believe names like the Monster. Yeah, the Mexican Monster is going to be in action. Devin Haney is going to be in action. And Abdul Mason. Ring with back-to-back weekends, big cards this weekend from boxing. Going to be talking a little bit boxing today because hoping to be joined by Katherine Renee Lindenmuth. Plus, I'm getting her at a bad time. And probably much later, the line Quentin Deleon will be here to talk about his legacy boxing promotion fight. If nothing else, Jess Martinez did say he will be here at 6:30. APFC 21 this Sunday. The local scene has wasn't my plan to start talking about the upcoming weekend yet because there was so much from last weekend that happened. This week you do have the UFC in Qatar. That one's happening early in the morning for us here in the Mountain Time Zones, like 8 a.m. to start the prelims. So that's 7 in California. Going to be 10 a.m. in New York because you do have Fight World 41 here locally. If you're not here locally, BKB, Night of Four Kings, Vice TV, that's Saturday night, BKB 48. Sunday, UFC Fight Pass, APFC 21. And I'm sure you saw the major news that Gabe Stevenson will be a part of the card. You get that Sunday at Isleta Resort and Casino. This past Saturday on Mike Adams 2.0, we had Anthony Pettis on. Inform Me Amateur Undercard. You watch that this Sunday on the APFC YouTube page. The UFC Facebook page, UFC Fight Pass Facebook page, will be home for your professional undercard. And then UFC Fight Pass will be your exclusive place to view the APFC 21 main card. Gable Stevenson, his second MMA fight. Won an LFA, wins in Dirty Boxing. Now we're going to see him here in Albuquerque. That card also includes 2 championship fights. James Pleasant going to be taking on the Bellator vet, the former APFC welterweight champion, vacating to go down to lightweight. Emmanuel El Matador Sanchez got veteran versus up-and-coming prospect, literally like 4 to 5 times as much pro experience from Sanchez as there is from James Pleasant. It's not even the main event. Mark Kolker going to be going against our very own here from Albuquerque, New Mexico, representing Nobody's Villains. We had him on our UFC 321 watch along. The gentleman, Jalen Fuller, that's for the vacant because Emmanuel Sanchez let it go. APFC welterweight title. So you're looking at 2 winners there that could further themselves up that list of people to get the short notice call from the UFC. Saturday, Fight World, Revel Entertainment Center, Fight World 41. James Romero joined us live in studio for the UFC 322 watch along. The Monster Wrestler, great submission game, LFA vet. He's going to be in the main event of that Fight World 41 card. Richard Jennings, who also got to talk to over on Mike Adams 2.0 on ESPN Radio. We get to see the fifth degree Taekwondo black belt who's won 4 in a row back in the Fight World cage. I wouldn't be surprised. He puts number 5 up on the board, and we're talking about him fighting for a Fight World title. That's why you should get out there. A lot of great stuff going on. Our feature interview, if you've seen on the bottom line this week, we do have Fight World 41s, the Fight World Amateur Lightweight Champion, John Moreno. Full interview with him is this week's feature interview on the website. A beautiful thing was this past Saturday at the El Rey Theater from Duke City Championship Wrestling. And again, they'll be back at the El Rey Theater on December 27th. Looking forward to that one. Want to see where we're progressing. Solid Taylor, still DCCW heavyweight champion. He went from a man behind the mic to taking over the company by force. Hobo Hank is slowly but surely working his way up the tree of henchmen, takes his revenge on Solid Taylor, and goes to get back his championship belt. All of that, I'm sure, is making our friend who joined us last week to preview the card, Fred Slow, very happy after he was heinously attacked 2 months ago. December 27th, the next chapter in that professional wrestling saga unfolds. You can be there live at the El Rey Theater. Always got to appreciate Duke City Championship Wrestling. Go check them out online for more details and how you get your tickets to be at that event. Already 30 minutes into the show, hoping to be joined by a guest here. I'm going to guess at this point, I'm just going to guess, guys, it'll be a treat if Katherine Lindenmuth joins us. She did tell me there is going to be an upcoming press conference where she'll be able to share more details. Maybe they thought it was better to not come on this platform. I might get more details out of her. Maybe she just kind of lost track of time. I believe training is in session right now at Rosales, Kajakimbo, and Karate there at Edith in the North Valley. Really interested to see what happened where it was the opponent's team, from everything I'm reading, that alleged that Katherine had tried to game the system, had taken an illegal substance. I'm quite intrigued to hear what all that means, how it played out, how we so quickly got to a no contest. There's usually investigation procedure. These things take time. It's kind of still ongoing, but we'll see how ongoing the ongoing is. An interesting development. You know, it's always a risk for these athletes, for any combat sports fighter, to jump on that plane, to head to another country, to go to other commissions. Hopefully, we're going to have Diego Brandao joining us here in a little bit. And he's someone that can definitely speak to these situations a bit better. He's went to Russia quite a few times, currently in the midst of a huge win streak and career rejuvenation. We've seen him tearing it up, Tuff-N-Uff in Las Vegas. That's coming off of now like a 5th championship victory, regional scene championship victory in his last 7 fights. A huge resurgence from the Ultimate Fighter winner. We still got plans to have him here tonight. One more time, a huge shout out and congratulations to Islam Mahashev. The greatness is well acknowledged. joining rarefied air, 11th man, 11th UFC fighter, excuse me, Amanda Nunes, 11th UFC fighter to win championship gold in two different weight classes. Valentina Shevchenko denies Zhang Wei Li the same acclaim, sends the clear message to the former women's strawweight champion that size did matter, and it's an intriguing case to see what's next for both of them. I already had that conversation over MMA After Hours with Mr. Michael Carlisle. That conversation is up right now on cageminds.com. And tomorrow we'll be talking more pro wrestling as Pro Wrestling After Hours will be available. You got the UFC 322 results over on the website up, and the BKFC 84 results also up. Well, we still got some time before we're joined by a guest. This weekend, not just a big weekend for MMA, but kind of feel like talking about the bare knuckle. So we're going to get more into BKB 48 here in a little bit. Double checking around real quick to see if any of our guests have made a comment, a connection, efforting to see if anyone's still hearing me. I see you, the one person watching. Thank you. Appreciate you watching My Fight Show, episode 2. I feel like the pilot, even though I felt a little bit turbulence during the pilot, it might have been a little bit smoother than this, how this is going. Jess Martinez, Diego Brandao, I think they're both still in line to come on. We actually got Katherine Renee Lindenmuth. Let's add her in right away, see if we're able to get this conversation going.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Kat, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Sorry, I was working out. I was like, oh, yeah.
I figured you lost track of time. Well,
I
gotta
did.
ask you, how was
Egypt was beautiful. Um, it's an experience. It just got hostile there at the end.
Well, let's take some steps back. Looked like I was messaging you and you said I'm heading out at 11:30. I didn't realize that was 11:30, middle of the night, catching a red eye for the first leg of your flight. So from here, it looked like you went and stood the night in the Atlanta airport.
No, it was 11:30 in the morning. We flew out to Atlanta and then waited till I think it was 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock to fly out. We flew out from Atlanta to Paris. And Paris, we left Paris at 8 p.m. Paris time. So we flew all the way overnight to Cairo.
What was that like? How'd you feel after such a long journey?
You know, it was fine. I like traveling. I don't mind the plane. There wasn't a lot of turbulence. I was excited to get there. It's always hard when you're flying out for a fight. You can't just eat all of the fun food they have on the plane. And luckily, there's a lot of health conscious food that gets served, so it wasn't too bad. But no, it was great. Like it was the flight home that was longer because that was a 9 hour flight to Cairo, and it was 14 hours back when we came back.
How did you feel when you landed in Cairo? How was the couple look like hours of acclimation and getting ready for weigh-ins?
Honestly, they tried everything to throw me off. It was beautiful. There's lots to do. When we got there, we had 6 hours until weigh-ins. So I got myself ready for weigh-ins, did the weigh-ins, and then they hustled me off to the pyramids. And we rode a camel the day of weigh-ins and got to see the Sphinx and the pyramids. And the next day, tried to hustle me off to the Civilization Museum where all the mummies are, King Tut, all those exhibits are super amazing, beautiful. But you guys know me, I'm pretty chill. I keep everything pretty level. I allowed myself enough rest to get the job done that night.
Were you able to take in? Were you able to take in that scenery, or were you more concentrated at that point? Like, I'm kind of tired here. I just traveled and I just sweated a whole bunch. This is a little weird.
Honestly, I thought I was gonna be more tired, but Egypt is such like a passion travel for me. It's like my bucket list, and that's my dream trip, and I got to actually go and do it. So I was just in awe, honestly, just to be there and know that those steps our camel was on were steps that people traveled, that, you know, that's a real historical site. It just made me feel in awe. It was amazing.
Weigh-ins happen. Did you read anything into the face-off? What was it like? That stare down.
You know what? We really didn't read anything into it. I did the same thing I usually do. I'm calm. I have a good stare down. You guys know I got the rock eyebrow. I think I've found a little mastery on my face off. I don't feel intimidated. It doesn't make me laugh anymore because it's kind of silly staring at somebody for a couple minutes. They make it kind of weird a little bit sometimes, but I didn't really read anything into it. I just knew that there was no nerves yet.
You're all the way around the world. It's you and Coach. Did anybody else go with you? It's just you and Coach Rosales.
Nope, it was just me and Coach. He had a Kajakimbo gym out in Egypt, where a grandmaster from that gym helped corner us, but we flew ourselves. We weren't able to take our third.
What was fight day like? Was that normal preparation? You're in a different country. I'm guessing it can't be normal preparation.
Well, it was it felt normal, other than they whisked me off to the Civilization Museum, and I had about 4 hours of relaxation time till we left to go for the fight. But honestly, I did the same thing. I tuned out into my music. I laid calm. I stayed very calm, cool, and collected for the entire time. I was in that prep moment. And up until the when we got to the venue and we're ready to fight, you guys know we posted a video. I was dancing because like I just have to be loose, of all the crazy things that transpired, right before the fight and then afterwards. I was just Cat. Like, that's all I can say, is that I did Cat, and Cat came out on top, and the entire world saw it. No matter what, the entire
So,
world saw everything.
where was the first like weird incident? Like, when did the weirdness start happening? Was it on the way to the venue? Is it at the venue? Is it when you're warming up? Like, when does this thing start off?
Honestly, there was a couple off things from before we got there. There was a couple things, off here and there, but to be honest, I felt like of all the off things, it just seemed like they're trying to throw me off. They're trying to throw me off, like little off and inconsistencies here and there. They had me warming up in a men's bathroom, um, and people were using that restroom while we were warming up. So it was very interesting. But up until the end of the fight, it really didn't get to the point where we were worried about anything. It just felt like, oh, they try to throw you off. I've been through this before, fighting, being a road warrior. They do this. This is normal. Like, we don't expect anything less. You're the challenger. Um, you know, they kind of want to get you off guard at some point.
And I just want to make sure I got this right. You're up 2 weight classes for this fight?
Three. We was a super flyweight title. They changed it last minute. So that was part of one of the things is that we caught it from BoxRec that it was a super flyweight belt, and they had promised a flyweight belt, and they stated that they had just found out that it had been changed, but the email that they had sent me was dated like 10 days prior. So it's not something they had just found out. It was something they were trying to kind of conceal until I got there. But if you guys know me, I'm an analyst. I analyze everything. I'm like the biggest. I love to. It's like the mama FBI agent. Um, I'm always looking into things, and it's something that I had discovered and reached out about. So it was 3 weight classes up, and I mean, you guys tell me you watched that fight. You tell me how I did a good job. I think I did great.
Well, forget how you did. I didn't think they were going to score it for you. I was already going off earlier on the stream talking about boxing scoring to the audience, how a split decision means you convincingly won a unanimous decision on the road because you already know one judge is at least going to screw you anytime you're the road fighter.
Right, exactly.
So what was the fight like from your perspective?
Honestly, it was I listened. Like honestly, that's the one thing we always say. I listened to Professor. I did some listening. We did things we did in our camp. I know, I was so proud of myself. Obviously, first 2 rounds, I'm always slow to warm up, but after that, it's just beautiful how you can see things that you've been practicing. The fight I felt like went well. I had like tons of energy, like normal. We practice at such a high elevation here. It's like 200 feet over there. Like it's like 10,000 here. Our elevation is on point, and that's where my lungs and my endurance come in. I had so much gas for this fight. I could have gone more rounds. I was excited to get through what I did. You guys know me. I could just keep on going. You guys know also same part as Kat. I don't sit. I do not sit in the breaks of my fights. Um, I don't feel like that helps me. We drink a little water. He talks me through some stuff, and I don't sit. I lean against the pad, and then I get back moving, and I hear the music, and I move. That's cat style. And if anybody's ever seen me fight every single fight, it's the same thing.
Did you feel it? Could you feel it in her punches? Did that size matter? I know that in sparring around town, you've sparred girls that are up weight classes. So was there any difference the live fight against one up to several weight classes?
To be honest, it really wasn't with her. The power wasn't there. Um, it was more of the holding, how much she was holding me, how much she was putting so much pressure on my body. It's hard, but we trained for it. So that's why I said, I basically, did what I trained for, and I trained to evade those holds, to move within it, to not allow her to get me cheap rabbit punches within the clinch, because she's really known for doing those rabbit punches within the clinch to try and get extra points, and kind of prove her aggression. But it just didn't turn into aggression. She just started launching forward with her head, in which I got that little nick there because she kept headbutting me coming in to rush me at the last couple rounds.
Your speed, your cardio advantage, both of those were on display. It wasn't just the hand speed, it was the foot speed. A well-earned decision victory. You get the title. You're way outside of your weight class. It's all the way around the world. What was that moment like? Because that moment, we can still pull it up on YouTube. It's there.
Right. And honestly, the moment they said from America, I was in tears. It's like that culmination. Like I worked so hard. I put all of my energy and effort into this fight, this training, my training camp. Like I said, I had told everyone this training camp was on point. We were very focused and dialed in. And the fact that I was able to, I did it. You go into the lion's den and you did it. And I felt, like I had been saying, I faced my Goliath and he fell. Like, you know what I mean? I just was so proud that I had done it, and I was just happy to be standing there with my team. You know, like I'm missing some people in my team, but like I was there with Professor, and we've been through so much. We've been through so much road warrior stuff. You know, some hard defeats on the road as well. Some good wins, and this was a good win for us. Despite.
When does that feeling go away and the ish really starts to hit the weird fan?
Honestly, I could even say that I still have that feeling because I know that I didn't do anything wrong. I know that I'm definitely not I don't use any substances. I'm a clean fighter. I just work really hard. I have like really good cardio. I stay in very good shape. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. That feeling is still there. I'm like, I cannot believe I did that. Like, you can't take that away from me, is because I went up 3 weight classes and decisively beat you. And it was amazing to feel that, and feel the support from everyone around me. And when the ish hits the fan, just the support that comes back to me, because it's amazing that there are so many people that may not know you, but they know you, and they know that that's not what they're stating is not you. And honestly, it started getting crazy the moment they announced my title. It started getting a little heated. That it was very very hostile environment. Something I've never had to experience before. And I can tell you right now, I want to advocate against any fighter, any boxer, any MMA fighter to feel that kind of hostility is uncalled for. This is a sport and competition, and it was very eye-opening and frustrating to see. And I'm definitely, anyone that's been through it, you got an advocate ready to stand up for, you know, not ever having to be in that position. You should feel protected.
When you say animosity, who is that coming from? Like, who are these feelings of aggression, anger? Like, who is that coming from? Is this from the crowd? Are we talking about the promoter, the opposing corner? Where's this coming from?
Well, the promoter was the opposing corner. The promoter is was at her first, her and also her husband. So there's a lot of bias there. But you know, it it just, they were not agreeing with the cards, so they rushed the score table. They were not agreeing with anything that happened, so they were very upset. He had rushed to the scorecards, the table, to check the cards before they gave off the announcement. And I think he thought he saw that she won, so when they announced that I won, they rushed the table, and it started getting very hostile. We were trying to take pictures in the ring, and we were actually rushed out of the ring. You can see it on camera. Basically in that fight right at the end. Like, it was kind of odd. There was no interview, there was nothing else after that. They stayed in the ring and really argued everything. And things happened from there. And we're just, so there's a lot of frustration there with that.
And at some point, and then there's an accusation. So we're talking about the scorecards were wrong, or they felt they were incorrectly tabulated or read. And then when that doesn't work out, they change it to talking about a possible substance or something else.
So when we were ushered out, we actually went into the corner where she was. I was never approached by the sanctioning body. I was never approached by the promoter, the doctor. I was never checked out. Nobody came to my area. I was there for 15 minutes, sitting in a chair, until the crowd and some of the I think they were part of the team that was doing the venue. We were ushered out that we needed to leave, because it was crazy. It started getting very heated, very hostile. So we were ushered out. So I never actually received a doping test. They never gave me one. So the fact that the accusations was, I did hear somewhere, because a lot of it's loose translation, that there was a positive test. There wasn't a test even taken. They never approached me, not even the next 24, 48 hours after I was in the hotel. We went straight to the hotel. there's a lot more things that we're going to be releasing about that, but there was no test taken. So in lieu of that, we already set up, because we want to make sure that my test is secure, nothing is tampered with. We set up a test immediately landing within the US to get that test done. So when I landed in Albuquerque, I took a UFC level in competition doping test, and we've already submitted it. And we've done our due diligence. I don't dope, and I have no problem testing it, doing a hair follicle test, whatever it takes. I won that fair and square, and it's really sad that they're trying to take that from me. And I've also, written and reached out to the WBA because of a lot of the items that did happen as well, during, prior, during, and after the event.
So, who are you in contact with currently in hopes of sorting this situation out to the truth?
We've reached out to the WBA directly. So we've just reached out to the head of the WBA,
So,
and yeah, I've sent the emails, I've sent all of the proof that we needed to send, and we're just waiting. Obviously it does take some time to get responses. We don't know what's going to happen. They do have rules on trying to, if you're trying to overturn something, but the thing is that they're saying that the EPBA, which is not a actual acronym for anything over in Egypt, it's the Egyptian Athletic Commission. That it's not, there's no EPBA, which I think is funny because that's what's on BoxRec. But the commission, they're saying that they had an investigation, that they are ruling it a non-contest. It wasn't ruled a non-contest by WBA. So we are bringing everything to light, because I do believe that light, will expose darkness, and the things that were the things that were wrong will be exposed, because I went out there, I did my thing. I did not take any substances. I did not get a doping test when I was there, but I did make sure I immediately got one, like upon returning, to protect the validity of my test, because for fear of tampering. And we're just gonna let the truth shine, because we know what it is. Um, I've gotten a lot of support from everyone, and everyone else knows what it is. So we're just gonna keep fighting, Shang. I'm not rolling over on this one. We went out there, we won a title. I'm a title holder. I'm a dual title holder. I'm a title holder in 2 weight classes. So I'm not letting that go.
I heard a press conference. We might have a press conference. Are there plans for a press conference?
Yeah, we're trying to do that. It's either going to be a press conference or a press release, but there will be something released very, very soon, because we want to make sure to have everything together for everyone about everything that transpired. Like I said, very transparent, everything out in the open. I have nothing to hide. So, what's going to be, what happened is going to be seen. You guys know me. I'm extremely transparent with everything. I'm an advocate for those who aren't, that have nobody advocating for them. I'm a big person on women's sports, and I feel like this was a very big bullying situation. This is, and these things are very upsetting, because they could have happened to somebody who doesn't have the ability to do this, to ability to advocate. And I'm glad, I feel like everything gets put in your plate for a reason, and this is what we're using.
This is one of those horror stories you hear about the fight business. One of those stories of how boxing isn't able to progress forward due to situations, promoters, promotions that could let something like this transpire with so many questions left. How can you be professional? It's unfortunate that best performance of your career, taken out number one in the world, has this kind of cloud that you have to fight for the win a second time.
Right. And that's exactly right. Like, this is a horror story. And, you know, unless you have people that stand up against this, you're not going to have change. I think if you want to be the best, you got to fight the best. And, she reached out to me. She reached out to me to fight her on this card. Um, I'm a true believer that, she reached out to me because I am 3 weight classes lower. And, there was an idea thinking that it was going to be an easy rollover fight. that, oh, it was be good because I'm a good fighter, but it was going to be a lot different. And they didn't know who they sent out there. So unfortunately, they sent out a true fighter. Lots of grit. I don't back down. I don't quit. There is no quit on me. And everyone knows that. So we are fighting this to as much as we can. We just ask for everyone that supports to continue to share, continue to advocate, continue to speak out, because the more we speak for this, the more that the ones that don't have a voice feel like they have one, because this happens more than is shown, the more than hits social media. The time for buying fights should be over. The time for thinking people will just roll over by being bullied, this is over. Like, we need to stand up for difference.
Well said. Well said. Big fight coming up now, obviously, ahead of you, battling this promotion. Great. Congratulations still on the victory. I don't know how to end it
Thank
on a
you.
high note, and that's what I want to do here.
Well, and you know what? We brought home that belt. That is
Katherine
my belt.
Lindenmuth. I was going to say thank you for the time tonight, because I'm sure Coach Rosales wants you to get back to practice soon.
I know. I am back at
We're going to have
practice. You
more
guys
on
know
this
me.
story as it develops. Thank you, Katherine. Katherine Lynn goes out to Cairo, Egypt, wins the title, and now has the battle time. Like I said, this is the horror in combat sports and things that happen in the boxing game. From our first guest, quickly to our second guest, we're going from last weekend to this coming weekend really quickly.
What's good, Mika?
He's Jess Martinez,
What's
the
good?
Vanilla Gorilla.
I
How
heard
you
that's
doing,
what
sir?
they call me. What's good, my friend? How are you? It's been a minute. How have you been?
Right, almost forgot it's been so long.
Dude, we had so many dang interviews too. We had like 2 or 3 interviews where fights I fell through too. I've been, I've been itching. I'm always itching to get a fight going. But yeah, we've had so many dang interviews, and you supported me since day one too. So I'm always down and ready to take the time out to chat it up with you, my man. How have you been, my friend?
I'm good. Got a new show that we're launching here. This is my fight show. Welcome to our third week, our second episode, because I called the first one the pilot because I didn't know how it was going to fly.
Hey, no, that's the thing. I saw you had made a kind of a new show, or you were doing a little bit differently, and you had your own little spot. Yeah, I was excited to come down and come through, but hey, the online stuff works for me too. I was able to get a little bit more extra time of training and whatnot. Fight week, we're always trying to fill in the extra gaps and get those extra sweats for me at least. But yeah.
You returned to fighting this year, and you didn't do MMA first. You did Muay Thai.
Yes, I did. I mean, the thing is, I had a good hiatus just through injuries, and I was itching so bad to just get into it. I was taking whatever I could literally get. And the thing is, too, I'm a firm believer. At the end of the day, I'm trying to be an MMA champion and then remain undefeated MMA. And to get my MMA better, I truly believe you have to do the base martial art of each martial art to really understand it. And yeah, the opportunity had arose, and yeah, I tried to take full advantage for sure. I'm gonna try to take advantage. I mean, yeah, my butt is 32 now. This is kind of a moment where most fighters at least, have a lot of wear and tear on their body, where they're kind of chilling and probably trying to fade off into the sunset. But me, yeah, I've always been committed to my craft, and I knew I would always be back. I knew I'd always get my chance to get back into the cage, and I just stayed patient and stayed waiting. And like I said, that Muay Thai fight popped up, and yeah, I was like, screw it, let's do it. It's a fight to fight. But that was definitely a different kind of fight and a different experience, and I had fun with it. I definitely grew and got better from it, and Yeah, you never know what might pop up next. Right now, I got this dang MMA fight, and I'm focused on this Sunday. It's gonna be an epic card, APFC 21 down in New Mexico in the hometown. It's gonna be a homecoming. Yeah, I know Santa Fe is gonna be standing up in there for me, and yeah, I'm more than excited to step back into the cage and back to my natural element. That's the thing too with MMA. I feel so much more freer just training it. You know what I mean? With the Muay Thai, it kind of restricted a lot of my abilities and skills. But hey, it made me better at the end of the day. Had an awesome opponent, and yeah, he brought it to me. He brought the game to me and reminded me what it's like just to be back in there, and just the intensity of Muay Thai and the spirit of Muay Thai, and just the technique and everything, how they're dedicated to their craft, helped me step up my craft tenfold. You know.
You made it through a camp. There had been issues with that. You finally got an opponent. You finally got to fight. So even though you weren't victorious in that moment, I feel
Mhm.
like there were a lot of bigger plan positives to take away from getting that fight in.
Yeah, that's the thing. It had been so long, and just through injuries, I had to go through a full surgery, take a year off. I had so much atrophy within my leg. Yeah, I actually blew out my knee, ACL and meniscus, so it was a pretty intense surgery to recover from. Most fighters and most people don't even make it back from that. So yeah, I kind of just took it step by step. I'm like, let's straighten the leg, let's get to walking, let's get to running. And yeah, just even going to training, I was dying training and getting back into it. And that's the thing, I wasn't able to really step back into it. When I got cleared by the doctor, he didn't really let me go straight back into my jujitsu and grappling, but he said it was okay to do my stand up. And that's where I found Kingdom Muay Thai over with Mark. And it was actually a new gym he had started. And just the vibes there were awesome. He had a bunch of different fighters from Thailand, coaches from Thailand, a bunch of different MMA fighters coming through. And it was up and growing. And yeah, Mark definitely took me under the wing, and like I said, he's all, hey, you want to get a scrap in? You want to get a Muay Thai fight in? I was all, of course. And that's the thing. Mentally, I mean, you know how my style and my just throughout my career. I mean, as soon as the bell rings, I was always looking to dominate and going through, and that's how I trained. I trained to dominate the fight, and the difference is two now, even from that camp to this camp. I mean, I've had a whole year since that camp, so you're gonna see a accumulation of a good years of work, and yeah, I was I was training to dominate instead of training for war, if that makes sense.
Where does the mentality come from that you won't let these hurdles stop you, that they're just hurdles, that nothing is this mountain in front of you, that you've kept this determination for this path, even with years in between fights, these surgeries, that mental tenacity is something else.
Um, the thing is the passion. I love this game. I love the craft. I found it a long time ago, and I just always loved it. I have my late Uncle Gabe, Uncle G. He always told me, he's like, once you let those ears go, you can't go back. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I've let my ears go. I've let so many other things go that I've given to this game. And the thing is, mentally, where I'm at, I'm just kind of looking to get my peace back. You know what I mean? I've given a lot of peace and a lot of my soul to this game. And yeah, I'm looking to get my pieces back. And I know it's going to take time. I've always been down to collect as many heads as I can. I know too, I got a little bit more extra grays nowadays, but I feel good. Like I said, I just had a birthday actually 2 weekends ago on the 20 or on the 9th, on the November 9th. So yeah, I'm 32 now. I feel like 32 going on 22. You know what I mean? I'm still able to get in there and rumble, and I feel good. I feel great. And the thing is, this opportunity with APFC, I actually wanted to be on the first one, and I got the offer, but I had actually gotten a car accident that same week. So like you said, with just life, just different things happening with life, and I had to take advantage of the opportunity. And yeah, just know as long as I'm healthy and ready to go, I'm gonna be front. I'm gonna be on the front lines for New Mexico every time, man. As long as I'm able, God willing.
APFC, a huge opportunity coming up this week. How is it different to be prepared for war instead of domination, as you just mentioned?
Like I said, the I think the difference is majorly too. I had skipped the like once the bell rings, you really can't go back on anything. You're in there with whatever package you have, and yeah, as the rounds are going, I mean, I kind of yeah, I guess you could say I was kind of trying to awaken that dog or that vanilla gorilla, but that sucker was slumbered in the cage a little bit still. So I really didn't try to bring him out to the fight. But now with this last camp, I've been bringing them out just about every day at practice. You know what I mean? So just experiencing what throwing blows, full blows. I mean, you've met me. I like to be nice to my partners and stuff, but even too mentally, I was a little bit too nice to my opponent mentally. Yeah, I was just grateful because he had actually took the fight on a week's notice too, and yeah, I was just grateful to have him in there to be able to have a dance partner, you know, more than anything, instead of just thinking about completely just dismantling, you know. I was a little bit more grateful. And like you said, I was expecting the domination, and but shoot, I hadn't hit none of my friends full blow like that in forever. So I definitely switched things up. Yeah, I was just basically training myself. I got back with my dad on the strength and conditioning. So I was doing I was in the gym probably 3 times a week. Now I've been in the gym just about every damn day. Even Sundays I'm doing stuff. I got back with Pat Holmes and the crew down there. I've been doing a lot of boxing, crisped up my boxing. I know, you know the Renegade Jerome Rivera. He just had his boxing fight. I was helping him prep for that a little bit, so it helped my hands get back crispier. And yeah, like I said, within that fight, I noticed the stones that were unturned. So now I made sure we turn those stones and turn those bricks before we get into that cage, and it definitely helped with my confidence and just everything all around. Yeah, between me and you, I kind of had to. Of course, you have to analyze it and you have to look at the reality of the loss, but you gotta. It was just another fight. You know what I mean? I kind of put it in the back of my head, and the thing is, I know in the cage is where I shine, and that's where I'm my best element, and where I it's really no rules there, you know. In a way, that Thai fight, I was limited a little bit, and it made me. I was thinking a little bit too much in that fight too. But yeah, either way, we're gonna be good. Like I said, it's like when the domination wasn't happening, it was like, okay, here comes the war. I remember thinking in it was probably about the second or third round, I was like, okay, this is what it feels like to be in a fight again. You know what I mean? And I didn't even really get that before that. Like I said, I was training hard and whatnot. But yeah, it really just made me step up my game all around and reminding me what it's like to be back in there.
Giovanni Meza is going to be the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Experienced guy. How do you see this fight playing out?
I'm expecting high pace. I mean, I'm New Mexican. He's Mexican. I mean, I'm technically a Blaxican, so I got 50% of that Mexican in me. I know he's coming in with a heart full of gold, and that sucker, he's going to be trying to let it shine. You know what I mean? He's a tough guy. But I'm expecting my skill set to shine through. And yeah, I've been working hard. That's the thing. You already know New Mexico's the Mecca, and it's going to show on Sunday all the skills of everyone that's passed their skills down to me, the knowledge down to me. And yeah, hopefully it shows. I'm positive that it's going to show. Yeah, that's the thing. That January fight, whoever saw that one, they might as well erase that out of their psyche, because I'm gonna put a new image on them. Come here this Sunday. It's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm expecting a very high-paced fight, though. Yeah, I know he's gonna bring the fight to me. Nobody travels all the way from Mexico to get their butt kicked, you know. But at the same time, yeah, just like Jalen said, we don't let nobody come in our house and take what's ours and take what's off our plate. I already let that happen once, and yeah, I'm not gonna let nothing else slip through my fingers, you know.
Fingers crossed we're calling it a comeback, I guess, right?
Yeah, call it a comeback. Like I said, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we got Gable Stevenson on the card, so I'm positive that Uncle Dana will be watching. And yeah, I'm gonna put on a show, and I'm planning on showing that I'm especially for featherweights. I'm a very dangerous person. I'm a very dangerous featherweight for anybody that steps across the cage for me, especially in that cage. I'm gonna show that's my element, and that's my backyard, that's my home. At the end of the day. Yeah, I can't wait for that bell to ring,
Jess
man.
Martinez,
I can't
APFC
wait.
21. I love the excitement on your face.
Oh yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it. You know, I don't know if we did an interview before the Muay Thai fight, but yeah, like I was taking that fight just to get back into it. And with this fight too, I'm getting this fight to get my MMA career back active. I'm tired of going on Tapology and seeing I'm not an active fighter no more. You know what I mean? It's that's what I mean. All the stuff's motivation. It's motivating, and the thing is, through this hiatus, I've had time to really just take care of my life, and then just experience things. I got a lot of angels with me, where I got a lot of promises I need to fill, and I know my angels are watching me, and they got my back, and they've carried me through this injury. There's moments where I didn't know if I was gonna be back in the game. I was literally eating burritos, Cheetos, and I was going crazy trying to even gain weight to see if I would lose my dang six pack. And I guess not, man. The God blessed me a little bit too much, where he's like, nope, we still got that warrior armor on you. You better stay ready, man. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. He put me in the position where I can get myself back lined up with this. And I'm going to take full advantage. I'm going to, like I said, as long as I'm healthy, I'm going to take full advantage of this youth that I got left. And we'll see how far we can take it. Ultimately, I want to bring a pro strap, whatever organization it may be. I want to bring a pro strap to Santa Fe. I mean, UFC is always the ultimate goal. You got to set the bar high, you know. But I'm planning on showing Sunday. I'm a high caliber. I'm of the level, and it's gonna show. It's gonna show. I feel great, and it's gonna be. Oh, there it goes. We got about 12 amateur fights and 12 pro fights. You don't hear about that on cards. You know what I mean? Normally is about 15, 16 of that. You know what I mean? Combined with amateur and pros. And I think we're going to see a lot of future stars coming out of New Mexico. We're going to see New Mexico's next generation come this weekend, you know, and I'm hoping to be one of the standout leaders of that generation for sure, man.
APFC, UFC Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass YouTube for the undercard of the pro fights and the amateur prelims on the APFC YouTube page this Sunday. You can watch in all those places or be at Isleta Resort and Casino. It's great getting to talk to you, Jess.
Yes, sir. We're scrapping all day come Sunday. Y'all come through. Make sure you tune in. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to represent Santa Fe. Looking forward to represent New Mexico and just represent MMA, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, everything. I mean, my Thai ain't too crazy, but hey, I'm going to be represented no matter what. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Michael. Always, man. Thank you for taking the time out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see you on the other side, my brother.
We will talk to you again here soon, sir.
Yes, sir. You hit me up anytime. You guys stay cool. It was an honor. Thank you. Later, boys.
My Fight Show continues. This is a little bit of almost madness. I think we have Quentin Deleon about ready. I need like 30 seconds to take a deep breath, and then we'll get Quentin Deleon on here. Give me 1 minute. We'll be right back. We're back, and the thing with going live is that it's live and anything can happen, and that includes like my first two guests running a little bit late, and the one guest that's kind of early on time-ish. I got to kind of postpone him, so I appreciate you already bearing with me. Quentin Deleon, the only one that was on time. My friend, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Hey, you already know it's a pleasure to be with you anytime over a mic.
Back in the boxing ring, where you been at? How's life been? What's been going on?
Man, I was enjoying being a father. I was enjoying being a dad and enjoying my family, doing things that I never got to do as a kid. And being able to provide and do the things for my boy that that I didn't get the chance to understand growing up. So that's just really it, man. And I've been grinding, even with doing that. I've still been in the gym. I've still been at it working and whatnot. And we're back.
What makes December the right opportunity? It's been a while since we've seen you.
Oh, well, December, I kind of already had it planned out. Not that the card or anything. I was already shooting for a fight at the end of the year. I didn't know if it was going to be Austin or not, but I was praying about it, manifesting about it, and sure enough, it came across the table, and I took the opportunity and said, why not? So here we are.
Legacy Boxing Promotions, December 12th. The legacy continues. Seasons Beatings 2. Quentin Deleon, Austin Lewis. Austin's been in quite a few boxing matches. Pro and amateur MMA experience. Pro bare knuckle experience. Have you guys ever sparred, shared the training room together?
Yeah, definitely. We shared it back. I would say 2019, 2018. I think he was preparing for the King of the Cage title, and I was preparing for that WBC title with Dragonfly. So yeah, we've been teammates, and it went a little bit sour. I would say sometime in I think it was that April card for Lions Promotions, and yeah, it went a little sideways, I guess. And I mean, I have nothing against the guy. I hold blessings to everyone. If you have a problem with me, you have a problem with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just here to fight. I'm here to win. And I did an interview yesterday, and everyone thinks I'm here just to beat Austin. Yes, I'm here to beat Austin, but I'm here to be great. I'm here to do things that people in New Mexico haven't done, or even surpass the things that people in New Mexico have done. I want to be put on the map, and I want to show that my skills in boxing are still way better than what they would have been in Muay Thai if I would have continued.
Well, okay, I'm interested in that. Why do you feel that is? Because Muay Thai, you were getting yourself into some title fights, some WBC recognition as an amateur. So why do you feel that the art of 2 limbs has been the right path for you versus the art of 8 limbs?
Well, just in the background, my grandfather and people in my whole family and my background, we've all just done boxing. They've all done boxing. I was the only one that took the foot out of the water and said, you know what, let's go ahead and try this Muay Thai and do something different. People in New Mexico, and it's not personal, I understand, they don't, how could I say this? I'll just say it straight out. I'm not going to be it. People do not want to see a Muay Thai fighter go into boxing and dominate all the boxing. People do not want to see that. The boxers don't want to see that. They hold these boxers in MMA to a certain level in their brain that doesn't think that they could do the things that boxers could do. With the thing of 8 limbs is you're taking more damage than you are just boxing. So I know for sure that I could handle it, and I want to show it. I just want to be able to just put it all out on the line and give it.
Will the familiarity, will that relationship, do you feel like is the animosity something I'm missing, or is it going to play out online, or do you think this is just going to be a competitive fight between you two, or you think it's going to get that extra kind of hype and fire behind it?
I mean that hype's already there. You got 2 people that are just willing to win and wanting to win, and Austin, I know that he's on a two fight losing streak, and I know that he wants to come out with the victory. I've been out for 2 years, you know what I'm saying, and I need to show out all the skill and the abilities that I have that I've kept to myself these 2 years. And we both have something that we need to prove, and it's gonna be fireworks, no matter what. Even if the people don't like each other, if they do, it's not gonna matter. Me and him, we're there to show what our skills do and who's better. So we're there just to fight. I'm there just to fight. So that night, it's all about winning. That's all it's gonna be.
I was bringing that up because my thought process is lion fights was so long ago. I'm like, I know you fighters like elephants. You don't forget when you got beef with somebody, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, nah. I mean, it's not. I don't have any animosity for anybody, and if they hold it for me, like I said, it's a problem with themselves. Um, it was so long ago. It's not even worth bringing it up. I'm sure that it'll come up sooner or later, but um, we'll just put it short. He wanted to replace somebody that didn't need to be replaced with, and doing it incorrectly. Let's just put it that way.
How much do you take away from those previous training sessions? Is there any information of value from you to still regurgitate from those sessions? Because it's been so many years since you guys had shared the ring.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't really hang on to anything from the past. That was so long ago. I know his style has changed up. My style has changed up dramatically. I'm not so much square anymore. I'm more sideways now. I'm more generating my power from my feet than just standing so square. You know, I'm doing things so much differently than what I was a couple years ago. And I know that he's trained so much differently than what he had years ago. We're two people, they just elevate. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect Austin or myself to stay in one position for so long. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think any of the things that he's done in the past that I remember will be in the fight. And if they do, that's great. I'll be able to pick off the things that I know that he does, and I'm sure that he thinks the same thing. But that night, it's just going to be two different fighters from so long ago, but have the same will, the same not animosity, but the same. I can't even put it together how excited I am, man. We're gonna go in there, and I know it's just gonna be lights out for one of us.
2 years since we saw you. I believe last time I saw you, you were working with Team Diamond Boy. How has the team transformed in the last 2 years?
Well, I guess there's been a little bit of a short stop there. I transferred actually being on Diamond Boys Emmanuel's team. I would say about 2 months ago. No, a great team. I still love them. I have nothing against them. They've done everything that they can, and I switched to Paco, and man, that this guy has done everything that I've been dreaming about, for getting just my footwork to my stance to where I need to be in the ring, knowing my IQ, doing different things with my IQ. He's just put me on a whole different level of boxing than where I was at 2 years ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. He's just elevated me up so dramatically.
What do you feel about it's been with Paco's coaching that's messed with you and developed the style that you were hoping for?
That attention, you know, that one-on-one, that knowingness of what a coach knows that you do, you know what I'm saying? And them, somebody to be on your ass 24/7 and telling you, hey, you need to do this correctly. No, you're doing this incorrect. You're gonna get caught doing that. And that's what he's done for me, man. And that's just something I've been completely grateful. And it's crazy how and all of that happened. I went into Legion Iron looking for a new strength and conditioning coach, and I was praying and asking, like, Lord, if you still need me to do this, I need something that's going to be fulfilling. I just feel like I'm going to the gym just to go. I need something, you know, I need some type of sign. And lo and behold, God's divine appointment, he brought down Coach Paco as I was only looking for a strength and conditioning coach. And we just took off from there.
So it's been 2 months now working together?
Yeah, it's been about 2 months, almost 3, I'd say.
Over the 2 years, was there ever a thought that you might not come back to this? Or was there always that attention when you were doing the family stuff that the gym was calling?
Oh, no, the gym is always calling my name. And how could I say this? If I'm away from the gym, I'm away from God. And if I have God, I have the gym, and the other guy was doing the interview for me, he was saying that God put them all together and, you know, made it capable for him to do it. And that's exactly the way I feel. God put me in such of a great position with all my coaches, with Coach Sandoval, with the strength and conditioning, with the boxing coach. And right away, I got an offer to even be coaching Muay Thai in there too. So I just felt super welcome. They treat me like family. I feel way different than what I felt 6 months ago.
What is the differences in that mental, that emotional side? Like, how have you been uplifted?
Man, just by Christ, and that's the main thing that I could do, man. If there's something that I don't feel right about, that's the man that I gotta go to. And everybody goes through certain things, and that's the only thing that I could say that really does truly help my mind and truly get me back on center is by following God. I know that people are gonna say, "Dang, man, that's all that people talk about or want to shove it down the throat," but that's just something that I see that I do that gets me back onto the ground, and you know what I'm saying. And God, he just put me back on that straight arrow. You know, like I said, I was still going into the gym here and there, and still trying to make it work. No matter what, in the week I'd have to go a couple days out of the week. There was not any time that I could not go. So there's always that itch. There's always that mind of what's next and what are we gonna do next. And I have it planned out. After this one, let's see what we got. What we're gonna do. I'm hoping that we could go back to back. Maybe God given this one so fast that I have an opportunity to fight again in December or at the beginning of January.
So this is a full-fledged. You're ready to kick things into gear, really get in motion and be active.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm in third gear right now. I'm ready to just keep on moving. And like I was saying earlier, I'm not just training to beat Austin. I'm here to be great. So after this fight, when I beat Austin, I want people to start giving me the names that they don't think that I could beat, or the names that people don't think that I could handle in boxing. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that. I'm down to risk my zero. I want to be able to put that risk up like everybody else isn't willing to. I want to show that. It's called courage, and I want to be able to give that an example for everyone from now and into the future.
Not just courage, but I feel like there's maturity, and there's been a different kind of aura coming from you since marriage, since fatherhood. What have those meant to you and helped you in that growth process?
Man, well, you know what I'm saying? Every man has their issues and their up and downs, and you know what I'm saying? And like I say, God has made me and molded me into being the person that I need to be for my son and who I need to be for my lady as well. Yeah, we all make mistakes. Everyone does, and that's fine. As long as you repent from it and you stop doing what you need to do, then everything's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? So being able to be there for my son, being able to take him into the gym, showing him just being into the ring, like even on some of my posts, he's in there shadowboxing with me. You know what I'm saying? So that gives me that extra drive. Like, man, my son sees exactly what I'm doing. He didn't have to see it, even being it, seeing it in person. He heard it while my lady was pregnant, while I was still fighting Jose Villapando. I know you know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing. People are going to have to worry about that other Deleon coming up into the rankings and just taking over and demolishing that too.
It sounds like you're in a great place mentally, spiritually, with everything that's going on. I'm sure you're expecting a killer performance. This is going to be
Say it again, Micah.
Did you hear me on that last
My
one?
bad, you broke up there.
Oh, you sound like you're in
go
a
ahead.
great place. Sound like you're in a great place, like you're expecting a great performance. Do you see a 4-round war possibly materializing here?
Well, you know what I'm saying? You can't ever underestimate somebody, and that's the first thing that I've messed up on in the amateurs, like with Dragonfly. I underestimated that guy, and I shouldn't have. And that cost me a big title that I really, really wanted. You know what I'm saying? So after that fight, I never underestimated money. I know Austin is coming to take my head off. I know he wants to finish me in the first round. I know he wants to do it in the first 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And my job is to make sure that it doesn't happen and make sure that I do it first. So, it's not not possible for a 4 round if two people are willing to go all the way to the end of the extent of whatever that is. It's more than possible, and it's more than possible it could be a 2 rounder. It's more than possible it could be 20 seconds. It's more than possible it could be just anything. This fighting game is unpredictable.
Last thing before I let you go, what's an interesting fact that the audience doesn't know about you, that the fans doesn't know about the Lion?
Ooh, what is it? I got a couple of good things about me. I don't know. I'm trying to, let's see. What does the audience not know? I've done Muay Thai. I've done boxing. What do you think? You tell me, Mike? You must have a clue or something.
No. I'm looking to dig deeper here than what we already know. I didn't know if it was going to be about your entrepreneurship, home gym. Your dad has like 80 different businesses. I don't know what kind of hidden talents you have.
Yeah, well, the main thing is I've really just been trying to give 110% into fighting. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be all in, I need to be all in. You know what I'm saying? There is no A and B plan. There is no 80% into A plan and 20% into B plan, because then you're mad because it didn't work. And I've said that before on an interview with you, and you know what I'm saying? I just know what it's going to take now, and I'm just so grateful to God to have this opportunity to be fighting, to be able to show this for the next kids that are coming up in line. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for Perez for even offering me to be on this card, especially for having 2 years off. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful. I'm happy. Austin, if you're watching, man, I really hope that you're having a great camp, dude. God bless you, and I cannot wait to see you December 12th, man.
Kiva Auditorium is going to be the spot. Ticketmaster for the tickets to get on in there. December 12th, boxing back in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's been a while. Quentin, thank you for the time.
Hey, man, this will be the last time when we say it's been a while. I promise that, all right? So thank you so much.
Look forward to talking to you soon.
Hey, man.
Oops. I think Quentin was about to say one more thing and then it disconnected. It's playing havoc on today. And I can be honest with you guys, this is a safe space. We're a little haywire. This guest is a little bit late. This one's a little bit later. Then finally, the last one's a little bit early. And I'm going to be sending out an SOS for Diego Brandao. Don't know where he is. Next week, I can tease it. I believe we'll have it for next week that Alex Solis is going to be joining us. He is the man behind Cartel Jiu-Jitsu and the Cartel Clash. Jiu-Jitsu Cartel, excuse me. Let me get it right. And the Cartel Clash. Cartel Clash recently had their first successful event, and we're going to have news next week. We're hoping to be able to do it tonight, but next week, Alex will join us here so that we can break news about Cartel Clash 2. We'll be getting more grappling coming up locally before you know it as they try to build that stage up. Local scene is on fire. Got to thank the fighters for their time. Katherine Renee Lindenmuth. This is a story that we are all going to follow closely. Going to Cairo, they obviously thought they could find a smaller fighter on short notice, bully her way to a victory for their fighter, and that it would just work out for them to continue what they're doing. Allegedly. It's a good conspiracy theory. We'll see what the governing bodies play out. With our own eyes, we saw play out. Katherine definitely won that fight, and I can't believe she has to go to bat for a second time. So we had Katherine Lindenmuth on. Appreciate her. We had Quentin Deleon on, and this weekend, you can see Jess Martinez at the APFC event. Let's dig a little bit deeper into what's going to be going on at APFC 21. It's a huge card this Sunday at the Isleta Resort and Casino. At the top of the card, Jalen Fuller. We know about his incredible striking prowess. coming off of a submission of the year candidate, his snap kicks, his length, all big attributes, not to mention when you got Mark Coker coming up from what I believe is going to be sea level. Coker coming up from Alabama, elevation is going to be to the benefit of Jalen Fuller. His cardio, from what we know, world-class level Muay Thai, fought at that same event that Jess Martinez did and won. Nearly got himself to a point where he'd have a ranking. So Jalen Fuller, big time looking for him to have the striking advantage in this matchup. When you look at the submissions, the two submissions that Jalen has hit in his pro career have both led to submission of the year candidacy with the LFA and with APFC. Coker, 6 finishes, 4 of them come by submission. He is a game opponent, willing to come out here. I feel like there's a lot of reason to think that Jalen deserves to be the favorite as he is. Co-main event on the card, you get Emmanuel Sanchez, James Pleasant for the vacant APFC lightweight title. Sanchez was a stalwart for a long time with Bellator at 145 pounds. Recently went all the way up to 170 to win the APFC title. A man who was there in the heyday, in the prime of the Rufus Sport team. A brawler with very good striking, a creative submission game that is pulled off 10 submission victories, including the arm triangle that won the APFC welterweight title. Loads of experience, with this being his 36th professional fight. On the other side, James Pleasant will be having his 8th fight in a row. If you don't know, James Pleasant has already picked up AFL along with Ruff and defended the AFL lightweight title. So James Pleasant, thought of as more of a striker. People have wanted to take him down. He's pulled off a couple of submissions. He has the championship pedigree. This is going to be an interesting one, even though we had Emmanuel Sanchez as the former welterweight champion. It's James Pleasant, the 6'3" lightweight, that's going to be the bigger, more imposing figure. He's been an intriguing prospect coming up. This is where you blow up the prospect tag and really grab the UFC's attention. Huge opportunity for Pleasant. For Sanchez, who's reinvented his career, this could be a 3rd win in a row. And the lightweight division would be an intriguing one for a short notice call-up to get a guy who's been seen around the country like this. I'm sure we all heard by now, and this one is the interesting one. If those 2 title fights don't whet your beak, if that's not enough for your appetite, Gable Steveson has his 2nd MMA fight. He's going to be taking on Kevin Hine. Kevin, coming out of Willwood, Florida. And this year has been his first year as a professional. He has a no contest on the record, put up 2 wins, a Kimura and a split decision. He does have a 2nd round knockout loss on the record. And now he has the opportunity to put a bump in the road to derail one of the bigger hype trains that's just possible in MMA right now. You heard from Jess Martinez, 24 fights booked for this card at this point. We're talking about a whole 12 fight amateur card, a whole 12 fight professional card. Steveson obviously has the wrestling advantage. Did you not see what he did at DBX at the Dirty Boxing event? The hand speed, the balance, the composure. The most intriguing heavyweight prospect that MMA has had, I want to say, this side since Brock Lesnar transitioned over. That's the kind of lineage, pedigree, potential that all culminates in Gable Steveson. Heavyweight division also be represented as Hammer Martin, who got a knockout victory at APFC 18, is back. He's taking on Jackson Ross. Dalen Wilson, who challenged for the APFC middleweight title. Incredible wrestler, great submission games. He's going to be taking on Reese Watkins. Jess Martinez, who's mentioned, 6-0, returning to MMA, first time in a long time. And when I say a long time, guys, it was 2019 when Jess beat Josh Altum at the Jackson's Southwest Series event at Buffalo Thunder. 6 years in the making to get this return to the cage to take on Giovanni Meza. Meza, 16 fight vet. Women's action, Carla Alvarez, BKC vet, wife of Cody East, who's UFC vet, BKB vet, former peak heavyweight champion, former legacy heavyweight champion, the former King of the Cage heavyweight champion. Carla East is going to be taking on Kenya Martinez, formerly Kenya Rosas, the sister of Raul Rosas, one of the biggest prospects in the bantamweight division in the UFC. And to think about it, Kenya has been competing as a professional all the way since 2016, went the distance, 3 rounds with the current UFC women's strawweight champion, Mackenzie Dern. That was a decade ago. Wonder how those two are going to scrap. Mark Hussey from Nobody's Villains. He is back looking to rebound. He's going to be taking on Derek Minier, who is unbeaten so far. I know that Haas has said he is in the best shape of his career. Familiar names to us here locally include last week's guest, Gabe Como, the Barber, and Elijah Lucero, also from Nobody's Villains. Appreciate them for coming on last week. The former Fight World title challenger, Ezekiel Romero, also going to be on this card. There is a lot of diamonds in the rough, also much up-and-coming talent to be on display Sunday at Isleta Resort and Casino. The guy flying under the radar on this card, Logan Paxton. He's another guy knocking on the door of the UFC, went beast mode at APFC 18 with a knockout victory of Armis Guyton back in July. Glad to see him coming back out to Albuquerque one more time, and the fight with RJ Hoyt could possibly earn him a title opportunity. That call to the UFC. If that's not enough for the local fans, I got ahead of myself because I'm talking about Sunday because we just got done with Jess Martinez. Don't forget, Fight World 41 going down at the Revel Entertainment Center on Saturday night. James Romero, who joined us for the UFC 322 watch along here in the studio with photographer extraordinaire Robbie Gutierrez, Robbie Ray Images. James is in that main event. James, an incredible wrestling pedigree, was a heavyweight wrestler at Missouri. Yes, D1, Missouri, notable wrestling school. He has put a submission game together, his striking something together. Don't let him get on your back. James Romero in the main event of that card. You have Richard Jennings, the 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo. You get Marvin Sandoval from Nobody's Villains. You can tell just from the width of his shoulders that he can wrestle. The team says he can do it all. He's going to be taking on John Moreno Saturday night. King of the K. That's old school. Fight World 41, the Fight World Amateur Lightweight title is on the line. It's going to be an epic night. Amateurs from across the state doing their best to show why we have so much talent coming up in the state, and not to mention with James on the main card, with Richard on the main card, and still rumors that Sergio Gutierrez will be in action on that card. Also, one of the meanest, nastiest flyweights in the Southwest. I'm looking forward to a huge weekend of action. And as I'm continuing to talk about this weekend's action, it's also because I'm hyped up for BKB 48. It's a night of 4 kings from Florida. You watch that one on Vice TV for the bare knuckle fans on Saturday night. 4 title fights. Gustavo Trujillo was originally scheduled to be defending his title against Tony Johnson. Johnson is injured, and in steps Lucas Brown, former WBA heavyweight champion from Australia, 31-7 in traditional boxing. He's going to be taking on the reigning champion, Gustavo Trujillo. Trujillo, 9-0 in traditional boxing, taking off the gloves, 7-0 in BKB. It's going to be a ruckus one in that main event. Former BKFC light flyweight champion Jared Grant is defending his BKB lightweight title. There it is, against John Bernard. Loads of amateur kickboxing experience, a resilient, tough fighter with a finisher's mentality. In Bernard, got a lot of technical, smooth boxing and a lot of amateur boxing experience. On the Grant side, smash LT Nelson, unfortunately injured. Barry Jones now putting his BKB light heavyweight title on the line against former champion Cub Hawkins. Cub has looked dynamic and even better now, coming down in weight. Most guys go up in weight as they get older. Cub is doing the opposite, coming on down. 4 title fights from Florida, the mighty Trigon, with some incredible action on Saturday night. Whole weekend full of action. We haven't even mentioned the UFC. The UFC is in Qatar. You could see possibly 2 number 1 contenders decided possibly Saturday morning. Main event, you get Dan Hooker versus Arman Tsarukyan, the battle to get out of Dana's doghouse. I explained that over on MMA After Hours. Co-main event, Bilal Muhammad, Ian Gary. Both fights are going to be fireworks. It's the hope. I can see a lot of grappling in maybe one of them. Bet are, though, someone's going to be going for a knockout, because you really do got to impress Dana to be able to get to that next echelon to get the title opportunity. So we got the UFC Qatar early in the morning Saturday. Live and local, you got Fight World 41. Stay at home maybe, catch some BKB. Sunday, if you got your tickets ready, APFC at his letter Resort and Casino. Huge weekend of combat sports. Last weekend was amazing. This weekend's going to be amazing. And before I got out of here, there was actually one more person that I felt flew under the radar from last weekend, because with the UFC 322 event, with the star-studded card, it's hard to get to everything. And Ethan Ewing, short notice, 48 hours notice, Uriah Faber, A1 Combat Championship winning fight a weekend prior, flies across country from Sacramento to New York, takes the fight with a heavy-hitting Malcolm Wellmaker, a deadly right hook that maybe he might have had too much faith in, a shoulder roll that wasn't as crisp as it possibly needed to be. But Ethan Ewing bought the offense, the most long distance shots we've seen from a Ewing in probably 3 decades inside the Garden. A transcendent performance to steal the hype. Now the A1 combat bantamweight champion looks like a real player in the UFC. Tremendous performance from Ethan. That one was flying under the radar. Kyle Dawkins, it's 2 in a row. A guy that we thought, much to the chagrin of Michael Bisping, he said it in the return, was a pillow-handed fighter. He has now been able to really plant his feet behind those combinations and showed the authority. The Doris Knight got it done once again with the submission. Kyle Dawkins at middleweight looking like a real player. And Aaron Blanchfield out-gritting, out-grinding Tracy Cortez. It was a rough first round. It seemed like she just blitzed forward until she frustrated Cortez that she would not go away. And somehow Cortez, who had an amazing first round, the offense just kind of waned. It went away. It went down a level. It wasn't able to be as assertive in that second round. And somehow the bulldozing, leads to a scramble, leads to slapping in the choke, and then pulling it down in an awkward position. It feels like Natalie Silva is going to be next for Valentina Shevchenko if Valentina remains at flyweight. Erin Blanchfield has made a strong case for herself, though, to be in the conversation for what's happening in the UFC flyweight title picture going forward. That's how impressive the performance was. And I think that many of us felt that Chepe Mariscal was going to get measured against Pat Sabatini. Not that Pat Sabatini would turn into being the measuring stick and overcoming Chepe Mariscal. You get over to cageminds.com and we have the UFC 322 results. You check out MMA After Hours. We had a huge conversation about everything important from that card, the UFC Qatar card. Tomorrow, we got Pro Wrestling After Hours coming out, a Blood and Guts review with a full gear preview. Over on the YouTube and the website, the featured interview for this week is with John Moreno. We're going to see if we have time to kick out one more feature and get a hold of some people. It's been a huge week in combat sports. Islam Makhachev, Valentina Shevchenko proved their greatness. One more time, Lorenzo Hunt, defying age, defying layoff, defying the odds. Well, not really defying the odds. He actually came in as the odds-on favorite. But still at 42 years old, after a year and a half away, the BKFC, too many bare knuckle acronyms, excuse me, everybody, should be more professional than that. The BKFC light heavyweight crown is back on the Juggernaut's head, back around his shoulder, and you'll see him again yelling for another big fight, which gives me tingles and goosebumps to think that that fight could be against Mike Perry. Nothing against Eddie Alvarez, nothing against Jeremy Stevens. They moved up in weight. They took on a mountainous man that can endure loads of damage. They were intriguing fights. But to truly test the grit and greatness of Mike Perry, it's weird to say, go fight somebody your own size. He didn't want that with Dave Mundell. Maybe he's even going bigger game hunting, bigger fish hunting. When I talked to Nathan Rivera, which was a feature 2 weeks ago on the website, he made a great case for wanting his face to one day be on the bare knuckle Mount Rushmore. And he could acknowledge right away, Luis Palomino, Lorenzo Hunt. Those were the first two names out of his mouth that deserved to be on that Mount Rushmore. And Lorenzo Hunt proves why he deserves that distinction, why he gets that adoration from his fellow fighters. Game, respect, game. And I respect and am in awe of the tremendous power punching, how he was able to mirror the epic fight, the epic of the year. That he here, great, has to be applauded. The greatness of Islam Makhachev, the greatness of Valentina Shevchenko, a lot of other budding greatness, Aspen Ladd, Drew Stuve, the UFC 322 card, the BKFC 84 card, amazing big time events, huge historical implications for both promotions. And then we move forward into this weekend. It was such a crazy week. I really didn't even have time to get more into LFA. I know that UAE Warriors, Michelle Oliveira comes out on top. She is their new women's strawweight champion. Shamakad Magmedov, he will be coming to the UFC very soon. Former Bellator welterweight champion Yaroslav Almaslov in negotiations with the UFC, one of the best welterweights in MMA outside of the UFC, eminently coming to the promotion. And up in Foxwoods, Artem Blaka wins the LFA bantamweight title. The combat sports world is on fire. It's a great time to be a fight fan. And if you were here for the pro wrestling chatter a little bit, I appreciate you being here for that too. Get in the hang of this. Every Tuesday, my fight show. This is for the hardcores. This is for the fanatics. This is for the people that watch the prelims, that want to watch every event, that have the UFC Fight Pass, that dig into the bare knuckle when they have the opportunity. The people that love the pro wrestling, that go and support us at Duke City Championship Wrestling. There's so many avenues I'm taking this in. We'll have power slap people on in the future. Going to get more bare knuckle fighters on. Going to hopefully have some pro wrestling personalities for us to sit down and chat with. I'm trying to build something here. This is just the beginning. I'm Micah Frankel. This is my fight show. Everyone that stumbled upon this video, that watched for a couple minutes, I appreciate you. All the guests, follow across social media. It's Cage Minds Combat Sports News on Facebook and YouTube where you're watching this video, and a rest of the social media that I don't quite have this video up on. You find us at Cage Minds _CSN for Combat Sports News. Go over to the website where you can find MMA After Hours, Pro Wrestling After Hours, and don't forget, locally and everywhere that you find your podcast, when you're looking for MMA After Hours, Pro Wrestling After Hours, you can also hear me diving deeper into the world of anything sports and entertainment for ESPN Radio, Albuquerque 1017, The Team, alongside Mike Adams. That show is Mike Adams 2.0. February, as we're talking about December, you get Legacy Boxing Promotions at the Kiva Auditorium. Be on the lookout because February, Angelo Leo returning home to Tingley Coliseum to defend his world title. The longer we stay on the stream, the longer I stay on the show, the more information I'm going to remember, the more little tidbits are going to come out. There's so many things abuzz with the local scene. There's so many things abuzz with the national scene. Combat sports lives right here at cageminds.com and on My Fight Show. We're going to get out of here for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening.